Hi, everybody. I'm doing this last minute video to help this little kitten here who I've called Speed Racer because of the M on his forehead. He's in pretty bad shape, and to tell you a little bit more about his story, um, he's one of my rescues, and he was born with wobbly kitten syndrome, but so extreme that he cannot walk. He started declining really bad these last 2 days, starting um, Monday night. I have been up with him for 2 nights, trying to help him and getting appointments, and I was able to make an appointment early this morning with a vet. It was a hospital, or so I thought, and to take a look at him to see what was possibly causing the seizures and to give him some assistance. He and the whole litter was infested with worms, and I've been giving them treatments and they seem to be getting better. So I thought this might have been like a worst case scenario with worm infestations where it affects the organs, but that might not be it because the vet today said that his head and his heart and his lungs were clear, but he still continues to decline. And I've been doing cat rescue for 10 years, out of pocket, gotten some assistance from agencies, but ever since the pandemic, the situation with rescues and resources for people who do it individually and they're not associated with any agency, everything has dried up. And everything with pet care, as those of you with pets do know, that it is very expensive. I do not have insurance for him, and he needs to be hospitalized. There's a chance I might even not even be able to get him to the hospital alive because he's doing that badly. And I have 15 rescue cats, including him. I had been doing cat rescue since 2013 when I found an albino kitten in my backyard, and she had been rejected by her mother. And this little kitten, all white, with one blue eye and one green eye, she started the floodgates. She opened the floodgates for um, for all the kittens that came after. And one of the reasons I just decided to take her and rescue her was because in my neighborhood we had a lot of stray cats, feral cats, and I kept finding dead cats that were, cats run over, cats eaten by raccoons. It was just horrific. And that's how I learned all about TNR, which is trap, neuter, return. And I did my best and actually contained my colony. But then I moved away and nobody else would keep up because the people in this neighborhood poison the cats. But anyway, getting back to Speed Racer, I need help. I do not have the funds to send him to the hospital. But I still did my best today to get him some care, and it seemed to have relieved him. And I came back from the vet and all the things that they did for him. And here's the receipt. And I didn't get all the things done because, I work part-time. I work from home. I've been sick for a very long time, and, I have trouble walking. Not as bad as this little one, but I have a lot of health issues. So I don't have a lot of resources for this. And it's really hard for me to ask for help. But I need help. I'm starting a GoFundMe because things have gotten dire. And my greatest fears with all the cats that I've been taking care of, and I do a lot of preemptive care. Um, at worst, most of the cats have had fleas. One of the other cats in the house, unfortunately, had gotten diabetes and he declined very fast, but he was an older cat. And prior to, and he had to be put down prior to that. Another one of my rescues, who was one of three senior boys, who was in a situation where they're going to be thrown out by the landlord because their owner was in the hospital with lung cancer and died. And when she died, there was only 2 days left on her lease. And the landlord told her friends that he was going to dump all three senior boys in the out on the street, and it was end of October, so they were going to be thrown out as winter started. And I reached out to all my resources to see, hey, can anybody help out with the situation, because I already had five. And so nobody got back to me, and this was, I believe, in 2018. And so I just, you know what, just bring them over. I can't deal with the idea that they're going to be thrown out in the street, and they're seniors, so nobody wants senior cats. And then I said, just bring them here and I'll deal with it. I'll find somebody. And never did. So the three senior boys were added to my brood, and now I had 8 cats, and this was back in 2018. And one of them, Silk, is the one who was like, we had no idea. He was like between 20 and 24 years old, this little cat. And he had to be put down last March because he just declined so fast. And it's a horrible, horrible thing to have to put an animal down. But the doctor said he was in pain, he was in great discomfort, and as an adult cat, he was barely 4 pounds from just decline, and he couldn't walk. So there was no choice. It was the humane thing to do, although it broke my heart. And then, oh my gosh, I didn't want to do this because of the waterworks. But these guys have no one to advocate for them. My focus right now is to do the best that I can with Speed Racer to get him to a hospital. He's having seizures, but we don't know what the issue is. He's gonna need hospitalization. And I've shopped around, and hospitalization is minimum $5,000. And the vet, told me that's not including diagnostics or treatment. So the potential for this little kitten, who may not even make it through the night, is going to be about $10,000, which I do not have. And before, when I was containing the colony back in 2013, I just put everything on my credit card, and I was like, I'll deal with it later. And worst case scenario happened. I just didn't have the money to pay. I had to close the credit card. I had to pay the money back little by little, and it tanked my credit score. And at the time, I did have a credit card that I could put. I had a high limit because my credit score at the time was like almost 800. But after that, I just don't have these resources, and I don't want to let the fact that I personally don't have the resources to keep me from getting care or just putting him down because I don't have the money to give him his treatment or to pay for his treatment. So that's why I'm coming here. Because again, I need help. And so does this little guy. He's in between seizures right now, and he's suffering. He seems to be okay after the seizures are over, but he needs immediate hospitalization. And I really would like to give him a chance, but I need your help. So any money you can put towards this is greatly appreciated. And if anything happens to him, I still have 15 other cats that all need medical attention, rabies shots. His sisters, he has 3 sisters, they all need to be spayed. To ask you for your assistance. Any money you can put towards this GoFundMe would be a great help. And If you can't donate, please share to people who you think might. And also be aware that after the pandemic, a lot of resources for people who took care of animals, especially with the feral cat population. And I know there are those of you who just prefer dogs over cats, but regardless if it's a cat or dog or bird, like these creatures suffer because there are no resources for them. And the little resources I had access to just completely dried up. Everything closed up after the pandemic, and let alone trying to rehome any animal after the pandemic. People who had animals already were surrendering them at alarming rates. So I'm asking for your help. Something that is really hard for me to do. And I do this because I myself was in a situation where I was displaced for 2 years, and maybe I am transferring my human experience onto these animals. But all the animals that I have, they're very sweet. And my original start in this was to try to socialize those cats that were, that were actually good pets, but were traumatized, so they needed to be re-socialized to make them, adoptable. But then it's just started hoarding cats. And I'm up to my eyeballs in cats, and I love them, but this is just not sustainable. And not having resources makes it very stressful, which is why there's so many tears. And also, I'm dealing with my own health issues that I've been struggling, so I don't feel like I'm doing my best for them. And this is something I've considered, but I just couldn't follow through because it was just so hard to ask. And I guess if I really want to do my best for this guy, it doesn't hurt to ask and to put this out there and hope that people will come through. And whatever money does come through, it will be for the cats. Medical expenses, supplies, and the overwhelming costs for their care, things that they need, like this little one needed diapers, wee pads, a wheelchair. I actually, hold on one second, actually got him a wheelchair, because even though he had trouble walking, he was energetic.
Come on, Wolverine, leave him alone. Speed Racer! Speed Racer! Oh my god! Good boy, baby. Come on, Speed Racer, you can do it! You can do it! You can do it! I know, honey, it's hard, but you almost had it. Come on. Come on, Speed Racer. Come on. Come on. Come on.
He ate like a horse. I fed him with a bottle, and I gave him solids, and he had a great appetite, and then just suddenly declined. So I really do try for these guys, and I don't do it for recognition. I don't do it for any fame. I don't have anything really on social media posted about this because my focus on them, not me. And that's why this is so hard, because people misinterpret motivations and the need, and so many people scam, but there aren't a lot of resources for people who do their best for animal advocacy. And my little one needs help, and I need your help. So whatever you can do, donate, share. Just know that the money will go to his care, or the medical bills for other cats that do need medical attention and their supplies, just to help me get to, you know, get these guys in good shape. And the other part of this is the animal advocacy, where in not one single thing that's been on the news regarding what people are concerned about, not once have I heard anything regarding funds for the situation of the pandemic, where animals were displaced and animals were abandoned, and the suffering was exponential. And there are so many agencies that do help, and they're amazing, but it's not enough. And people are, they have to resort to things like this. So believe me, I do this, but I do not do this lightly. I'm just in a worst case scenario and I need help right away. So that's it. Please help Speed Racer and me to give him a chance. Thank you. And again, donate, share, and pray for this little one. Thank you.